Well, Japan is one of 12 nations negotiating the final details of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, known as the TPP. But there are several issues which could derail the deal. CCTV's Daniel Wrenches has more.
In recent weeks, many of Washington's pro-free trade business lobby groups have expressed quiet optimism about the prospects for the 12-nation Trans-Pacific Partnership deal. One major incentive is the potential to sell more products to Japan.
The big deal in this economically for the U.S. is Japan. The big deal for every other country in Asia is also Japan. The U.S. market is already open. So the question here is, are we going to open the Japanese market? A lot of agricultural producers in Asia who are looking and saying, we'd love to open the Japanese market. We can't. Textile producers as well. The Americans can. That's why they're interested in this agreement.
But U.S. officials don't anticipate a breakthrough announcement on TPP during Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's American tour. They cite continuing negotiations on sensitive trade sectors like the auto industry. Trade unions are concerned the TPP will harm American workers and erode environmental and legal protections.
Will they make sure that we have penetrated into the Japanese auto market before we start reducing our tariffs? Because if promises are made, if provisions are agreed to, but those don't really get at the right problems, and then we have no market penetration in Japan, and all of a sudden our tariffs start coming down, that's a real problem for American workers in the auto and auto parts sector all the way through the supply chain.
The agricultural sector is another sensitive area for Japan's politically connected farming lobby. Trade experts here say Prime Minister Abe will need to make painful concessions to enable the U.S. Congress to approve the deal.
There's going to have to be a market access agreement that works for U.S. farm states, period. Otherwise, the Senate vote that everyone thinks will be pro-TPP turns into jeopardy, and now you've got an enormous mess where there are just too many obstacles in front of you. You can't get the ball rolling.
A major breakthrough on the U.S. side would be the approval of a law in Congress known as fast-track legislation, which would make it easier for the Obama administration to finalize trade agreements, subjecting lawmakers to a simple yes or no vote on internationally negotiated deals. The Republican Party is generally more supportive of these kinds of trade deals and currently controls both the House of Representatives and the Senate, making it more likely that the Trans-Pacific Partnership will be approved, providing Japan can make significant concessions. Daniel Wrenches, CCTV, Washington.